song 2, yeah, definitely.
Lost it. So the second song of the album is called Dreams. I don't know actually. I don't really know when we named these tracks. I think they were called Song 1, Song 2, Song 3, Song 4 for a long time.
Yeah, the titles were always derived from the lyrics afterwards.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
This was...
And a lot of them are one words, which is kind of cool, I think. But some of them aren't.
Some of them aren't.
Which means they stand out. Everything's got fucking purpose in it.
Everything's got purpose.
And no one listened.
No one listened.
That's why we're pushing it
today.
today.
Why we're pushing it out.
Yeah.
Should we have a listen?
Yeah, let's listen to it.
In the day I'm stumbling round through the world, tumbling now, picking myself off the ground. The night is calling, my ears are picking up a sound, but they're numbed, I can't be found. I am lost, I'm underground. I close my eyes and drift away. I close my eyes and drift away. Oh Lord, please don't take my dreams. They're the only truth that I have seen. They don't feel like movie scenes. I'm watching my life through a TV screen. Oh Lord, don't take my dreams. Oh Lord, please don't take my dreams. Oh Lord, please don't take my dreams. Oh Lord, please don't take my dreams. In the night I come alive, flying high through the night ride, staying on the highways, going to my grave. Half the windows are asleep, gaining hours for their week. They gotta work until they bleed, it's nearly morning. The other windows dim their shine, half awake they seek and hide. In these hours they can find themselves to switching off their mind. In these hours I would climb, I'm sure I'd find a peace of mind I wouldn't leave behind in the morning. I close my eyes and drift away. I close my eyes and drift away. I close my eyes and drift away. Oh Lord, please don't take my dreams. They're the only truth that I have seen. They don't feel like movie scenes. I'm watching my life through a TV screen. Oh Lord, don't take my dreams. Oh Lord, please don't take my dreams. They're the only truth that I have seen. They don't feel like movie scenes. I'm watching my life through a TV screen. Oh Lord, don't take my dreams. Oh Lord, please 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 don't take my dreams.
So you've just heard the second song of the album, Dreams, which was again named after it was created. I think this was kind of a song that I can't remember when we put in the sound effect just before the first drop.
Child laughing.
I can't remember if it was because this was another song that we Actually, this song was a bit difficult to master. So this song originally started a lot different from what it sounds like at the moment.
It was originally, I think,
A lot
the
slower.
backing track was a song that you had done,
No, it wasn't.
wasn't it?
No, it was something that I recorded at the studio. I remember making the guitar first.
Right.
Dung, 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 dung,
Oh yeah, the
Dun,
muted
dun,
guitar
dun,
picks.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah.
on the Ibanez, which is... I remember spending a lot of time on that guitar because I thought that would be a big piece of the song. So
It was.
it was, well, you say that, but it's only really in the intro. You don't really hear it after that. But I remember there's at least 6 layers of that guitar, of different guitar parts playing.
Yeah. Ticking away.
Different, ticking away, and the slides down, they pan from left to right, and it's all a bit crazy. But the song, as you hear it now, is like maybe 120 beats per minute. Originally, the song was recorded at maybe 100 or 95 or something like that. It was a lot slower.
Yeah.
So if you do end up liking the song and trying to learn the lyrics to it, you're going to struggle quite a lot to get all the lyrics fit in at that speed because they weren't recorded at that speed.
Or maybe I can just deliver them in super speed, but
Maybe.
I can't. So funny you talk about how everything was like layered and, as you said, like swished around in its delivery on the music side, because I think that's kind of really suited to what I've always imagined this song was. So for me, this song was, I think the first 3 songs at least, maybe even the 4th, I was definitely busy in my Domino's driving times. I think around song 5, song 6, that's when Miyako and the idea of being a parent comes along and the songs change slightly. But with Dreams, actually no, I did know about Miyako.
You did know
this,
about
because
Miyako
that's
because
why
you asked him to put,
that's
asked me to
why
put the
the
baby
kid
laugh
laughing,
in.
the baby laughing comes in because of that. But when I was doing my Domino's driving, I would drive around and listen to the songs as they were being made. So maybe we'd have a backing track and I would sing the vocals whilst I was driving around and think of it. I'd be like, dude, we've got to go because I've got it. But this song, I always even imagine the music video as me driving around, being a Domino's driver and wanting to talk about how, as a Domino's driver, you actually have this interesting insight into life. Because you're in all these places and you get to see into all these little microcosms of people's homes for a glimpse of a second. So, I mean, one of the lyrics, I'm watching my life through a TV screen, sounds a bit like it's taking a swipe at technology, but all it actually was me sat behind the wheel looking through my windshield and how I was just like on this blur. You know how you drive, but you don't actually think about driving?
No. Yeah.
A lot of that was going on, especially when you're a Domino's driver. And it'd be late at night in the evening.
You know the roads like the back of your hand.
Yeah, I think we've got the car sounds in this as well. I think
Probably.
there's a few of them. But there was an interesting thing that used to happen when you're a Domino's driver, which is where you would knock on the door and God forbid someone you went to school with would answer and they'd look at you and just kind of like instantly have this like, I mean, there was a few times where I'd knock and there was like a party going on of a few of the popular kids. I had to hand over the pizza and they're like, Tim's delivering pizzas, look who it is. Everyone comes to the door.
No.
And I was just like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
It was shit. But then always coming away from that thinking that, oh, well, at least I'm actively thinking that I wouldn't be that person if someone did answer the door.
Yeah.
So another thing is people hiding away in their houses and not really chasing their dreams. So it talks about how I'd like just drive by and see all of these windows like with the lights on behind but the curtains closed, most people watching TV, and it just felt like we were living in a society where no one really chases dreams that much. And I was questioning if I could chase mine, because I really did think like I used to listen to these songs driving around, like imagining it in the O2 Arena, like this is going to be great, and not necessarily just because I wanted to be a star and have my face singing the music, but more just I thought the music had a platform, it deserved a platform. Yeah. So kind of that's what Dreams was for me. And I guess also finding out I was going to be a dad, talking about oh Lord, please don't take my dreams, because I still kind of had this question in the back of my head that Miyako didn't mean I'd be letting go of the music. Not that she was the reason that I had to let go of the music, but it definitely was a question in my head at the time. Maybe I can't just say I'm going to be a rock star. I need to actually sort my life out.
Which you did.
Yeah, I did.
Um,
And I found other dreams because of that.
exactly. Those that are probably more sustainable.
Yeah, like my double garage.
Exactly. It's the little things.
It's much better than being a pop star.
Yeah.
O2 Arena, if you want us though, we'll still do it.
We'll still do it. Yeah, we'll still be
we'll make
there.
the time. Got a busy
Yeah.
schedule, but yeah.
I think I'll just touch a bit on the production before we go on to the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
So this song, I think maybe there's one other song that I'd felt I'd put more effort into, but definitely Dreams was one that I felt had the most of my effort put into it in terms of like refining it. Like it started off sounding shit,
Yeah.
and
A lot of our songs is a lot of shit put down on a page,
yeah,
and sometimes our songs fail maybe because you're not in the mood or not working enough at the moment to be like, I need to refine this, and I know what. But maybe you wanted to strip something out, and I'd be like, no, that's what makes a song. But I don't actually know.
Yeah.
That if we took that out, we'd have so much more.
Yeah.
And I think we found a lot in Dreams just by.
yeah,
Because I can imagine at the start, especially like, oh, let's get a synth on it, let's do this, because it was a really vibey song, and that makes you almost want to like groove it out and make it a dance track. But I think it kind of sits on the edge of being a dance track, but also being like an electro synth vibe song,
yeah,
which is a nice place for it to sit.
yeah,
So
yeah. I agree.
yeah, good production though. All right, on to the next.
On to
Song
the
3.
next.
Oh, another thing though is that so on an album, we've spoke about this before, how an album can have an order, and you once said that you and your dad once said like, this is the recipe for what
There's
songs,
a recipe.
there's a
for
recipe
it, yeah,
for what songs should go where.
in an album.
I feel like hopefully we haven't massively conformed to that, but I have to say, like, just as much as Motions was an obvious song 1, Dreams is an obvious song 2, and the way it changes in its dynamic from Motions
Yeah,
makes the album instantly, to me, something that if it wasn't written by me, I'd be like, okay, where's this going next?
yeah, true.
So it's a nice, if song 1 is a good song 1, song 2 is a good song 2.
So there is a recipe for ordering songs in an album, but that's the recipe only really works out. You only get a beautiful cake if people listen to the album in the right order, in the order that you specify.
I know, yeah.
And a lot of people don't listen
Yeah.
to albums all the way through.
Yeah.
I do.
So a lot of the time when I'd share this album, I would enforce that upon people, and
Yeah.
I would almost be. It's hard as a. I think there's it's not the Foo Fighters, one of the rock bands, I can't remember, but he once spoke about how when he was listening to music or any not his own music but any music, he really made people in the room like, no, stop talking, like stop doing what you're doing and listen to it.
Yeah.
And it's always really hard to say like, well, don't just like listen to it, like fucking listen to it. But I think there's so much more value in the album if you do listen to it in the right order. But maybe that's just my own imprint, not really letting go of the music and saying you can do what you want with it. But if you go on SoundCloud, you'll see that song like The Motions has the most plays, Dreams has the
Dreams
second
next,
most,
yeah.
because I used to say that to people. So a lot of people haven't actually heard the end of the album,
Yeah. 'Cause they've never persisted
which is
through
just
it.
as good as the start. It's just different.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting question. I do wonder if the start of the album is better than if you had to choose song 1 to song 5 or song 5 to song 10, you'd probably choose song 1 to song 5.
Yeah.
They're
I'd say
the
so.
punchiest ones.
Yeah.
The rest of them are muddling their way through it a bit. Now I look back at it,
Yeah.
but nice still.
When I listen to, it's very difficult when I listen to music that I listen to. It's very difficult for me to listen to just one song. People like stars like Taylor Swift, they don't write an album. They write singles and they form them into an album. They go, right, there's 10 singles, there you go, sell that. Whereas people like taking it back to like Pink Floyd, their albums was a song. Like you had to, every song it was you started it and you didn't know the song had changed when you got to the end. It was just like one continuous ebb and flow, which our album isn't much like that. But I think the storyline that it has, it almost has the requirement of listening to it all the way through. Again, maybe that's just us knowing that that's the journey that we went on chronologically, and therefore we should listen to it that way.
So it came back to me who the band was. It was a guy from Radiohead who said it. And this is interesting because I remember at the time, my dad was really pushing me when I first started making the music. And he was like, it was a big thing for our relationship to have that connection and to be like talking about something for once. And he is in the music industry, but in the classical music industry. And he knows someone called Jonathan Cohen, who is big in the music industry in the sense that he's big in classical music, but also has links with the BBC and things like that, from doing like kids shows to introduce people to classical music or whatever. He has her fingers in a lot of pies, and he knew the drummer from Radiohead. So my dad got me to go to Jonathan Cohen's house in London, which is an amazing house. And I sat with this guy listening to the music, and he actively listened to it on a really nice speaker system. We went through all 4 songs, and he knew that I wanted him to try and push the music somehow. And I was very bullish, like salesman Tim at the time. I was kind of like, this needs to do something, What are we going to do? And I got him on side, and he was gonna take the song to, I think he was going to take Motion's Dreams, Choose and Dreamweaver to the drummer of Radiohead. And Radiohead at the time were actually supporting smaller bands and smaller music, especially production side of it, not so much gigs and everything, but helping people produce music. And he called up to he called up the guy's mum to get his number because he knew the mum better. And basically the guy who we wanted to get through to, his dad had just died that week. So Jonathan,
got these 2 little guys that want to make music.
So Jonathan basically, he got back to me and said I had to like hold fire on it because like
Give
it's
him time
just
to grieve.
Yeah, like you don't call up a guy and be like, yeah, I've got these guys trying to do this.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. I became a dad, and we sort of stepped away from the music once the album was done, and like that never happened. But it'd be really interesting to see if that.
If you're out there, Radiohead drummer, we're still here.
Yeah, we are. We nearly sent you the album. And I had a sour taste at the time. I remember once we'd recorded the album, I thought, oh, fucking Jonathan Cohen, if you had just pushed it. But I see now, looking back as an older person,
Did what you could.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the fact that you even listened to it was
Exactly.
a big step for him. So thank you, Jonathan Cohen, for the work you did. And yeah, Radiohead, if you're listening, if you're out there, got an album for you. You can sing it yourself if you want. So yeah, should we go on to song 3?